The sky is a tapestry of living art. Its canvas is ever-changing. Always beautiful, sometimes mysterious. One never knows what they may see when they look up.
A few hours ago, I witnessed something in the sky that, quite frankly, I don't know what it was that I and my son later would be watching.
It was about 5:15 today, this Saturday, the 5th of October. I was sitting out back and enjoying a cup of coffee when just glancing up at the tall trees at the back of the property, I noticed a small point of light in the sky. It was probably the distance of one hand's length above the tree. I thought perhaps it was a plane far away. It didn't move, it was just stationary. I thought perhaps a helicopter, and then I even thought perhaps the stars are coming out. Maybe it's the earliest stars presented this time of year. I went into the house and was checking on some food that I was cooking in the oven, and came back out and was surprised to see that that light was still in the same spot.
So I got home and my dad said to me, "There's something outside in the sky. I want you to take a look at it. Grab your binoculars." And I didn't really want to be bothered. I was just bringing my bags in from food shopping. But I said I figured I'd make him happy. I'd check out what he wanted me to see. So I go out there, I grab my binoculars, and he points to a light, a fairly faint light out towards the back of the property, up in the sky. I get my binoculars, I tune them in, and I look, and what I saw was unlike anything I really have seen before. It looked like the shape of a football or a clam, and it was like white around the outsides and darker in the middle, and I wasn't really sure what it was. I watched it for about 5 minutes, and we were discussing like what it could be, and I didn't really know. And it was kind of weird, but I was willing to chalk it up to just one of them things.
That's when I looked up and I seen a tremendously bright light straight overhead.
So when I grabbed my binoculars and I looked up at this bright light, when I was able to tune them in, my jaw almost dropped, because it was the same type of object that I had just witnessed over in a different corner of the sky.
And that's when I ran inside and yelled for my dad. I said, there's another one in the sky. You gotta come see this.
And what I saw through the binoculars was a tremendously bright light. Bright like an LED white, bright light, a circle, perfect circle. And if, like on two sides of it, like commas, the light was even more intense. And I ended up watching this thing for an hour because I couldn't take my eyes off it. Now, I'm watching this object, and gradually over time, it's moving across the sky slowly, I would say in a generally easterly direction. And it's starting to get a little bit darker now, and as the sky gets darker and it's moving across the sky, the color begins to change. And it starts to change from that bright, brilliant white to more of a yellowish gold color, and that large circle starts to become smaller. And at a certain point, the first like stars start coming out, and was literally laying in my driveway watching this thing, and just because I was captivated. And at a certain point, as it was getting darker and the circle of light had begun to get like smaller, I started to see like brilliant flashes of light inside of the circle. And everything I'm describing to you is how it looked through binoculars. So when you were looking at it at this point, with just the naked eye, it looked like just like a light in the sky. It looked like a star. But through binoculars, I could see with 100% certainty and clarity a circle, and then it was getting smaller as it was getting darker. It was changing color from a white to a yellowish to a gold, and then I started seeing like flashes of light inside of the circle through my binoculars. And I watched it for as long as I could, and eventually at a certain point, I had to continue focusing my binoculars because it was, in my estimation, moving either further away or higher up into the sky. And at one point, I decided to look at a star just to gauge as a reference for what a star would look like through binoculars, and it looked like what every star always looks like, a fine point of light. And then when I tried to refocus on the object, it was gone. I couldn't pick it up again. The two things that I found the most interesting about the whole sighting, as I'll call it, of Object 1 and Object 2, which is the fact that there were two objects of very similar appearance. I believe they were similar objects in different parts of the sky at the same time. That freaked me out. And then the brilliance of it directly overhead was amazing. And also, at the end, when it had begun to fade in size and change color, the flashes of light inside of the circle, like, when that started happening, I was like, what is going on here? So, that's the kind, those things were what really made me, like, wonder, what the heck is this? So what do I think it was? I'm not going to say it was an alien spacecraft. I'm not going to say that. There was probably a logical explanation. It was unlike anything I've ever seen. That's for sure. Possibly some type of weather balloon or hot air balloon, or something about the fact that when it was daytime and it shone with brilliance, and as the sun went down over the horizon, that began to fade, indicates to me that light was reflecting off of it. It also moved in the direction of the prevailing winds of this area, generally speaking. I don't know, but what it was.
Several viewers sent us videos that have been confirmed to be part of the Google Loon project. The Loon balloons travel on the edge of space and float as floating cell towers to deliver connectivity to underserved areas. These were spotted over Montgomery and Delaware counties over the weekend. So there's your answer.
Only see it for about 2 minutes, maybe. You gotta know when